Hey everyone, happy February. It's Colin, Heather, and Ken back with you for another market update, and it's going to be another interesting one. Back in 2022, we were advising folks to be ready in 2023 for kind of some ups and downs. And we started January kind of like with this real slow roll. But now we're starting to see a little bit of an uptick in business. Heather and I and Ken have all been noticing a significant change. You're probably not going to see it in the data just yet, but things do seem to be changing for the speedier market. There seems to be a shift happening nationwide, but before we get into those stats with Heather and Ken, I'd just like to mention that there does seem to be a little bit of a buyer window opening right now, with rates having ticked down a little bit more than expected and prices having shifted just a little bit lower. Sellers seem to have realized that they can't just ask for the world right now. They're not necessarily going to get all the terms they want. They're not going to get the prices that they asked for last summer. But at the same time, things are still remaining competitive when the right property comes up. Still seeing multiple offers on the properties that have a lot of appeal, and moving quickly and aggressively still seems like the way to win.
Agreed, Colin, but for sellers, the average days on the market currently is 44. So although if your home does have a lot of appeal and you've priced it right, you may see 2 or 3 offers. We are seeing a lot of listings that are priced based on last year, especially if you look at the comps over last summer or May, and those houses are going to sit on the market for quite a while. But I'll get more into the rest of the stats in a little bit. First, let's turn it over to Ken and find out what's going on in the lending world.
I've definitely noticed a little bit of an uptick as well. This last month, I even heard a stat from the CEO of our company that the month of January, our company had pulled more credit than it's pulled any month since October of 21.
Wow.
Which indicates
not 22, 21.
21.
Wow.
So about a year and a half of the most activities, which is basically going to be mostly new pre-approvals, not refinance activity, because there's not a lot of refinance activity happening.
Yeah.
So that's all new buyer business. Rates have gone the right way recently. The last couple of days, there's a big jobs report on Friday that was really positive, which hurts mortgage rates, but they're starting to poke holes in that. And it's a ton of temporary positions, etc., part-time positions. So we are anticipating, hopefully, rates continuing to go the right direction and keep the momentum up that we've had recently. So rates are settling around the mid-6s on a conforming loan now, and right around 6 on jumbo.
Okay, and so for that stat of the new applications, which is, it sounds like an incredible increase in volume, when do you expect that stat to turn into escrows or closings? Do we have any kind of average on that or expectation?
That's a great question. I don't have a model of how long that average person takes to get into contract once they start the pre-approval. So personally, I've had people that got into contract the same day, and then people that look for months and months and months, or even a year plus before they found their home. So I'm not sure. It was just some good news to have that type of an uptick in application volume.
Yes, absolutely. And we've definitely seen an increase in our activity here at our office as well. We went from a significant lull for a few months to all of a sudden, as soon as the storms stopped, which we had kind of a trifecta, I'm calling it, of the rates, the holidays, and then those storms. Right. So now that that is all over, it feels like everybody's coming out of the woodworks, and we're seeing far more new listings and new buyers entering into our business as well. So we're kind of expecting that to bear out in the stats over maybe a little bit in March, but mostly like April, May, and June.
I do feel like consumers are kind of focused now with the holidays being over, and like you said, the storms being over. So that typical seasonality, holidays being over, January being finished, of course, coming into February, I do feel like consumers are a little bit more focused. And if they're going to buy, they're getting more comfortable in the landscape that we're in, both rates and price-wise.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with price. The median home price did come down to $750 again, which is what it did in November, just a few months ago. And then in December, it ran right back up to $825, then back down to $800. So it's a little volatile too. And part of that is just because the slice of data that we're getting is so small. We only had 117 closings according to California Regional MLS for SLO County residential last month, which is really low. So then going into our handy dandy stats here, we had 117 last month, and then our inventory is now at 9 months. But our inventory is now based on selling only 117 properties a month. So it's interesting if you look at last month and it's 9 months of inventory, the number of houses that are actually on the market is still really low. So the inventory is one of the few stats that we can pull at any given time. For median price and the days on market average for February, we have to wait until the end of February. But if I want to know what the inventory is today, I can pull it. So I did that this morning and we had 588 listings on the market. So that means February is already coming down into more of a 5-month inventory based on the 117 closings. And then another interesting stat for that 588 residential SLO county, 214 of those are in escrow. So when you're a buyer, you're looking more specifically as well, right? So if you do go as a buyer to look on the market and say, what can I buy right now? If you're, say, in Atascadero and you want to stay under $1 million, there's only 18 homes to choose from. So we are still seeing that. We're seeing the prices soften in favor of the buyers, but we're seeing low inventory in favor of the sellers. So it's certainly a very interesting market, and it seems like we're going to pick up over the next couple of months, and the volatility is going to go in a more positive direction, but we'll see.
So all around, we're feeling pretty good about the way things have picked up in our market recently, and we look forward to giving you some more good news next month.
But before we go, if you're watching this video and you don't currently live here in Central Coast Wine Country, click the link below for a copy of our free relocation guide.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.